I think the rain scared off the public.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz, I talked. Oh, they.
Still adjusting to the time change.
I was just saying, but yeah, time change makes a lot of sense. Can you guys hear me?
It's not my favorite anymore.
Louder.
Oh.
Can you guys hear me?
Louder.
Meetings.
Yeah, that's just chilling, yeah.
Sorry, did you say something?
No, if I can hear, yes.
Louder. Thank you.
You guys, this is so, you don't realize there's an audience back here. Thank you.
That's why we have these wonderful devices that help us to project our voice, particularly for people like me who don't project very well. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. I had time to call this meeting to order. Parker, would you like to call the roll?
Yes, so I will provide information on how to participate, information on participating in this meeting and providing public comment, including remotely by Zoom and or telephone, is available on the meeting's agenda, which is online at isearchmonterey.org and is available with physical copies at the back of the room. For remote commenters, you will be muted until it is your turn to speak. And then for all in-person attendees, we do please ask to keep your phones silenced and also to have any discussions to a minimum to prevent audio interferences. As has been mentioned, we do have difficulty with sound occasionally. So for all speakers who do plan to speak, please make sure to speak clearly into the standing mics, which are for all in-person speakers. And you simply need to press the push button and make sure that the green light is on to make sure that the audio is working. You do not need to push the pod button. If there is one in front of you, please do not push the pod. Only press the standing mic.
Do the roll call, please.
Yes. Aguajita Oaks.
Present.
Thank you. So for Aguajita Oaks, I understand that we'll be using Just Cause for your attendance today. Have you been able to hear us so far?
I was just joining, so I missed the.
Okay. No, that's fine. And do you have a copy of the agenda for this meeting?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And then can you give a brief description of the Just Cause for you needing to appear remotely, business, family, emergency, or health issues?
I'm traveling due to work purposes. So,
Okay. And then is anyone over the age of 18 with you in the room?
No.
Thank you. And then can all committee members hear committee member Purdy? All right, thank you. Thank you. And then moving on with roll call, Alta Mesa.
Here.
Thank you. Casanova Oak Knoll.
Here.
Deer Flats.
Here.
Thank you. Del Monte Beach.
Here.
Del Monte Grove, Laguna Grande.
Here.
Downtown.
Here.
Fisherman's Flats. Not present. Glenwood.
Here.
Thank you. Monterey Vista.
Here.
New Monterey. Okay, not present. Oak Grove. Okay, Luce, I see you are online. However, as discussed with you earlier, you've already used your Just Cause twice this year. So unfortunately, you won't be able to participate as a member of the NCIP committee for today being remote. However, we will mark that in the attendance for future that you did attend, just was unable to participate. Thank you for attending. Old Town.
Here.
Thank you. Skyline. Villa Del Monte.
Here.
Thank you. And so for committee member Johnson,
Yes, I do.
thank you. And then can you please give a brief general description of your Just Cause? Again, that could be family, business, emergency, or health reasons.
Let's go with the family one.
Okay, thank you. And is there anyone over the age of 18 with you in the room?
No.
Okay, thank you. And then can everyone hear committee member Johnson? All right, thank you. All right, so roll call has been made and we have a quorum.
Thank you. Time for public comments for anything that's not on the agenda.
We have.
It's up. Okay, anyone wants to address committee or anything that's not on the agenda for this evening? See no hands. Go to 2 on the outside for 3 minutes.
Okay, we'll start first with the phone number ending in 902.
Great. Good evening. This before, everyone in Monterey knows that fire safety and hardening homes and buildings is essential here. But one ignition source that can be easily remedied by residents are the electric and gas smart meters on homes and buildings. My report on the electrical and fire hazards of these meters is on my website, smartmeterharm.org, and there are other reports as well, including one from arson investigators on the flaws with these meters. Smart meters are not grounded and have inadequate surge protection. They're very vulnerable to surges, and if the meter malfunctions, excess voltage and current can flow into your home and cause burned wiring, destroy appliances and electronics, and cause a house fire. And this has happened with people across the United States and in other countries. Utilities in California, including PG&E, were compelled to offer an opt-out by the CPUC. PG&E has a web page where residents can sign up to opt out and receive an analog meter. Analog meters are grounded and will safely route surges to the ground, sparing your house if there is an overvoltage situation or lightning strike or something like that. This is an important element to protecting your home and your neighborhood. On my website are research and reports on the other problems with smart meters, and there are many, including the health problems that have resulted to people when smart meters have been installed. And I encourage each of the neighborhood associations to alert their residents on this public safety issue. Again, there's information on my website, smartmeterharm.org. Thank you very much.
And then the second person.
Reggie, just a small picky on the agenda for tonight. The link to Zoom is in black. It's not a hyperlink like it is for the city council meeting. So if you could look into that so that person can just click on it, that would make life a little bit easier for those of us joining by Zoom. Thank you.
And that's the public comment.
Great, thank you. Approval of minutes. Anybody got any changes or anything to the minutes that were put out with the agenda?
Making a motion that we approve the minutes as published.
I'll second him.
Thank you. Want to go to a vote, please?
Yes, for roll call, Wahida Oaks.
I missed the last meeting.
Okay, thank you. Alta Mesa,
Aye.
Casanova Oaknall,
While I watched the replay, I was not present at that meeting, so I'll abstain.
okay. Deer Flats,
Aye.
Del Monte Beach,
Aye.
Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande,
Aye.
Fisherman's Flat, Downtown,
Aye.
Glenwood,
Aye.
Monterey Vista.
I'll abstain since I was not there.
Thank you. Let's see. Oak Grove, no, sorry, Old Town.
Aye.
Thank you. Skyline
Yes, please.
and Villa Del Monte.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes.
Informational reports and staff comments. I don't have any informational report to give. Any staff comments?
Yes, I do have one general comment for this evening. So for everyone's information, we will be discontinuing the NCIP contingency balance account and the unappropriated funds or ending balance account effective the end of this year, December 31st. So the finance department will wrap those, the funds from those accounts will go into the NCIP fund. And so we had a brief meeting last week, and as part of that process, the finance department will be working to put together a quarterly report to track the funds, well, to show the funds available and the funds specifically that are earned from interest on a quarterly basis, and that will be available and presented to the NCIP committee. But those two fund accounts will go away. The end of my presentation.
We entertain any comments on that?
Comments on that presentation? Sure. You have a comment?
I think it'll be great to have that disclosure. I think it's good.
Oh, okay.
So the way your face went, I was like, no, it's good.
Speak up, young man.
Yes, to prepare it. Oh, but I think that's a good thing. Thank you. Let's see, NCIP first review of projects. And city staff. Thank you, Ed.
Okay, yes, thank you. We will have a, pull up, give me a moment. Pull up the presentation. So this evening, the item on the agenda is, yes. First item on the agenda is presentation of first half of projects. Okay, so this evening, we're gonna start with going through item 3 is going through the project nominations that have been provided and submitted to the committee as of the July 31st, 2025 deadline. The last time we reviewed these projects was September 10th. Sent between this meeting and the September 10th meeting, we originally received 73 project nominations. 10 of those project nominations were either withdrawn or found not to be valid. NCIP committee. So this evening we will review the first half of those 63 roughly, or it's actually 29 projects tonight. They go from Aguajita Oaks to Monterey Vista. And then next week we'll review the second half or 34 projects with the voting night scheduled for the 17th. So that, as I said, 29 projects in the first half. And here you can see how they fall across the neighborhoods. Casanova Oak Knoll with 7, being one of the larger neighborhoods, downtown with 13. 5, the Casanova Oak Knoll projects in Casanova Park. And then the downtown projects are generally all across the downtown area. And then there's one or none in the remaining neighborhoods, with the exception of Del Monte Beach, which has some familiar project recommendations. Then next week, we'll look at the 34 remaining. So the Aguajita Oaks, there are no project nominations. Oh, there's one in Alta Mesa. The one in Alta Mesa is at Laguna Mirada Park, requesting improvements to that park, specifically resurfacing the main decomposed granite pathway through the park, weed control and landscaping improvements, restoring the lake, the main part of that being reed removal. And here's some pictures of the path into the lake that were provided by the applicant. And like I said, there's 7 in Casanova Knoll. The first one is Casanova Avenue traffic speed reduction, traffic calming measures. It called for installation of a speed bump, which I'd like to point out is not consistent with city policy. The installation of a radar speed sign or signs. Increased enforcement. Enforcement is also not currently something that the NCIP committee, NCIP funds can pay for. So that would really, at this point, leave a radar speed sign or maybe some other like construction improvements added. The 5 projects that were nominated within the Casanova Oak Knoll Park include a dog water fountain, basketball court, handball court resurfacing, new garbage and recycling receptacles, new gates around the playground and improved lighting in the restroom. These are more on the maintenance side of things, and the city has plans to tackle these soon. And then we also have a request to add calisthenics gym equipment, kind of those different self-weight workout apparatus on the ground, the perimeter of the park. So here are some photos that were provided for the type of fountain. Here was the applicant's submittal for the type of receptacles they were envisioning. These are examples of what we currently have at Laguna Grande Park. Then the last Casanova Open project is one to specifically rehabilitate this existing Monterey entry sign. And then the applicant also had the request to do a survey on all the other signs and to rehabilitate them as necessary. There are no projects nominated in Deer Flats. There were 5 projects in Belmonte Beach. As we said, one was to install railing at the boardwalk. I'd like to point out that I think this conflicts with an existing project that we have who's working on, which was to replace the existing cables. So that's in the works now. Install recycling and cigarette receptacles at Del Monte Beach. Take a toy, leave a toy box. And then we also had traffic calming items, which is this Del Monte Beach 04, which was specifically to install speed bumps on Surfway, Beachway. And I think this is one that we had missed in our previous review, but again, speed bumps are not consistent with city policy. So this is not something that we can do. Del Monte Beach 05 is to put split rail fencing along the boardwalk. And there's one project in Del Monte Road, Laguna Grande, which was to replace the English Avenue speed sign. It's these signs are currently not functional. And we have get to it next week. There's a whole neighborhood project to replace all the speed signs that are not functional currently or older than 10 years. Downtown, 13 projects. First one is Hartnell Gulch Bridge, pedestrian barrier upgrade. So here in this photo, you can see on both sides of Hartnell Street. It's a very old railing on both sides. The one that's on this side of the street on the library side is probably in worse condition than the other one. We have another Hartnell Gulch project, which is to rehabilitate the park and make some improvements. Again, this is in that walking space from Hartnell Street towards the library. Downtown 03 is a Calle Principal path connection from the rec trail up to Pacific Street for bike, specifically bike improvement. Downtown 04 is to replace solar panel system at the city's office building at 735 Pacific. Projects lane on I think the south side of Pearl Street.
Right.
Downtown 07 is the Monterey Public Library's request to upgrade the facility, including ADA compliance, community resilience, generator, improve the archival room, bathroom improvements and such. Downtown 08, Fisherman's Wharf, there's a display boat that since this was submitted, we've learned that it's beyond repair, so now we're looking at a replacement. Downtown 09 is to rehab and improve the existing decomposed granite walkway along Fremont Street, along from the off-ramp, Highway 1 off-ramp up to where the sidewalk, like the concrete sidewalk. Downtown 11 is to reinstall Welcome to Historical Monterey sign. So here's a photo of when that sign was there. Currently, there is no sign in that landscape triangle. T12 is the Postero Park Center facility improvements. Downtown 13 is another Hartnell Creek Park project. This one specifically is calling for some significant improvements to the park area on the other side of the library between the parking lot, city parking lot, and the driveway entrance. And to have some plaques and other considerations and representation for the in this space. And here showing space and then what they envision. So a space where people can sit and meet. Downtown 15 is the eligible barbecue area shade structure. So currently this area is uncovered. Zero projects in Fisherman Flats, one project in Glenwood. The one Glenwood project is to repair or replace the rectangular rapid flashing beacon at the crosswalk at 200-201 Glenwood Circle, and which you can see in the photo on the right. Someone removed the solar panel that was on the top of that post, which is why this is no longer functional. One project in Monterey Vista is to install complete sidewalk along the south side of Moonris and El Dorado Street at Moonris with the 900 Moonris Avenue Business Hotel. Sidewalk. And that's the end of that presentation.
Carried away.
I'm sorry, not staff, committee comments or questions. Sorry, committee questions.
Wishful thinking when the agenda adjournment already.
We did that slide.
So call to open questions for the NCIP members, only clarifying questions at this time. We can have more detailed questions and discussion after public comments. Anyone have any questions?
Okay. Reggie, I got permission from both of those applicants for the combining the bike on Pearl Street to one. So you have it listed as two, but it's really one because they both agreed to make.
Okay, so next presentation, we'll have it as one.
Good.
On the last project on Monterey Vista here, my question is sidewalks, we do infill projects in residential areas. Sidewalks since this is a business district, it's kind of upgrading it from a PG sidewalk to a concrete sidewalk. Would you consider that a valid project? I just want to make sure. I would think it is, but I just want to make sure that that's a valid one, sidewalk in front of a business.
I think French is using his phone. We generally would not do. It is the property owner's responsibility. However, unless we change the use or change ownership or do some other improvements, we actually don't generally require. I know NCIP has done quite a bit of sidewalk infills. They're generally like longer blocks. So that's up to the committee. I would think, in my opinion, it's probably first that's on the property owner.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. I just wanted to check. Thanks.
Downtown 09 rehabbing the walking space along Fremont. What kind of usage is that space getting? It looks to me like it's a bunch of bike tires as opposed to actually, I've never seen anybody walking there.
I have.
I have as well.
Yeah, I have.
I'm surprised each time I see a walker taking the gamble of walking on that path.
It's quite a few, actually.
Add something.
Go for it.
In our multimodal mobility plan, we do have a class 1 that goes all around the lake. And so we are in design on that and looking for grants so that we can actually create a space for bicyclists and pedestrians that is safe and wide and separated.
Oh, cool.
Any other clarifying questions in the chamber here? Seeing none, or do we have any clarifying questions online?
Not from committee members, no.
Okay. Bring it up to public comments for anyone who has comments about the items that we've just been discussing.
Comment, I can't hear what's being said.
Yeah, public comment.
Want us to just raise our hands?
Yes, please. So we have like 2, 3? Reggie, do we?
Down there.
We have one public comment online.
So 3 minutes. Go for it.
Just have one staff comment. The shade structure for Ellistar actually isn't the shade structure. It's everything under the shade structure. The shade structure's already been funded. So this is all the picnic tables and everything.
Sure.
So we have what, 2 in the chamber and 1 online? Public comment.
I think we can.
Oh, more. 4.
Out there's. What number was that, by the way? The one about the shade structure?
So is this done properly now?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
My name's Karen Brown. I live in the new Monterey neighborhood. But my project is for the downtown. It's number 13. And that's what I'm supporting today. Of course, because of my 25 years of working in this library, I support the library's proposals as well. But this one is something that comes out of the research that I did about Dutra Street. This, I wish you could put it up there while I'm talking, but if not, I see you have to have this. This project came out of the research that I did and did along with some other folks, including people who were in the Dutra Street area when that village was destroyed. It was the last indigenous village in Monterey. And that village was destroyed in order for us to put in our police station, fire station, and a parking lot. It was done with a lot of racism and classism, and for some of us, probably our parents voted for the bond issue that made it possible. It was not fair, and it, like I said, was the last village. And yet the people were put out. What I've proposed is more than just enhancements. It's taking just a sort of a gully-like place that is between the parking lot and the library on Pacific Street and turning it into something like this visioning, a place where people would sit in a mini amphitheater or a storytelling circle with the little dots in the middle one going along the side, those little lines, those would all be ethnobotany signs, except for the one facing Pacific Street, which would be about the Dutra Street Village or neighborhood, if you prefer that term. But it's also could be defined as a village. And then there would be stone seating and a stage down at the bottom where there could be lectures, storytelling, dancing, singing, things like that could happen there. It would be an enhancement for the library, for the entire community. It could be a multi-neighborhood project, certainly as an enhancement for Old Town, but for everyone who comes to the library, it would become a beautiful place. That's important, I think. And also, I should mention that the city council said when they made a proclamation of apology about what happened at Dutra Street that appeared in our newspapers, full page ads, each one of them said, we must do more. We should do more. And that's why I wrote this proposal.
Hi, my name is Marcia Moreau, and I'm in the New Monterey neighborhood, but I'm here to support the library project, which is in the downtown neighborhood. But actually, the library is everybody's library. Last year, for example, there were 130,000 walk-in visits to the library. So that's not just one neighborhood. And in fact, the other day, when the library did a story time for Halloween for the kids, there were 65 people, 60 kids and parents who showed up for that. So this is everybody's library. So it was built in 1952, and the last renovation was in 1984. And last year, the city did some engineering studies about what is wrong with the library and what needs to be upgraded. And in particular, the ADA compliance in the library. If you've used the bathrooms, if you've tried to walk up the stairs, if you've looked at the elevator, there are a lot of issues that have to be fixed with the library. And nobody has done that so far. It's just sitting on a list waiting to be done. So there are a lot of ADA issues in the library that need to be addressed. The city has already done an assessment, and they know what it's going to cost, and they know what needs to be done. So it's on its way. The other piece is last year when we lost power, a lot of people came to the library because the library is a community gathering spot. So people came to charge their phones, and they brought their children, and there were things for them to do. And it's a place that is wonderful for emergencies and power outages and things like that. And the library has no generator. So in order for them to be able to serve the community like this, it's a little bit of a problem to try to find one and get one here. So that's another piece of the proposal that we're asking. But, if you come to this library, you will see that the kids come down from the high school, that the children from all over the town come for services, that seniors are here all the time, people are here doing jigsaw puzzle. This is everybody's library, and it really needs help. So thank you for your consideration.
Hi, I'm also here for the library. Thank you all for the work that you do. It's complicated and tedious even in a normal year. And thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit about the proposal about the most urgent needs for the library. Two prongs of the proposal have to do with our responsibility to properly steward the building and its important treasures. MPL is a trusted repository of significant California and Monterey lore. The California History Room stores valuable archival documents and photos important to historians, scholars, writers, and more. It's an honor to be the stewards of these valuable relics. The honor comes with significant responsibility to properly care for them. California History Room maintains stable temperature, provides air filtration and humidity control. But we are lucky to have many more treasures than what can fit in there. It's crucial that the archives stored outside the California History Room be cared for to the same standards. We're seeking funds to upgrade the current archival storage room. We're also proud of the bold architectural facade of the library, featuring 106 windows, many that dramatically span floor to ceiling. Mostly single pane windows without UV protection dating to 1952. They're heat collectors in the summer and drafty all winter. The potential energy savings makes replacing them the smart and responsible thing to do. UV protection and improved humidity control would also protect carpets, furniture, computers, and especially the books. A more comfortable space year-round is no small thing, but that would be the icing on the cake. The feasibility study developed with the architectural G4 that Marcia talked about, it was approved by the city council. It estimated that the library's windows had a remaining lifespan of only 2 more years, and that was 5 years ago. I hope as you review this proposal, you understand that the improvements requested barely scratch the surface of the building improvements that are needed. I believe what you have before you is respectful of the challenges that the city faces also. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comments in the chamber?
Hi, I'm Ali Ladio. I live in the Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande neighborhood, and I'm glad to be here. It's my first time. Thank you all so much for the work you're doing here. I am also here on behalf of the library project. I've been supporting and working with the Monterey Public Library Friends and Foundation for about 5 or 6 years, including as board president for the last 3 years until this past summer. And I've been working on nonprofit fundraising for my career for 20 plus years, and I'm now doing consulting for many local organizations. And so to complement what my friends and fellow volunteers just shared, I just want to speak to our inability to fundraise for the library what we need for these important projects that we're speaking to. We raise, right now it's about $200,000 a year through the Friends and Foundation, and that goes directly into immediate needs, programs, and things such as technology upgrades, and not towards capital improvements, not towards things like this. So I won't belabor what my friends just said so eloquently, but I really appreciate the opportunity for us to be able to get these crucial funds that we truly won't be able to get otherwise. Thank you so much.
I see one more.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm really glad I got the opportunity to hear the last few speakers, because I actually crossed 2 things off of my list. Is really a flashback to see the kind of energy, passion, commitment to a project that people bring to this process. Impressive that people will put their time towards getting something in place for the community. I also need to say that there are a good number of projects that have been approved that have done this, that have come to you and put this kind of emotion and concern for their community forward, that have passed this 25-26 process, that you consider to, how to say this, to move forward only with the critical infrastructure funding that I know the city needs, and that you put aside any other important but non-critical infrastructure projects that get voted on until the existing project list is brought down to a reasonable level, so that we're not adding more backlog, but in fact, we're giving ourselves a chance to create the backlog. So that's just my thought, that it's a win-win. People go through the process, they get on the list, but they're not put in front of other projects the way that happens, I think, not intentionally, but because certain things are easier just to get done than others. But that creates a little bit of an inequity of how projects get passed through the system. Thanks a lot.
Seeing no other public comments in chambers, the one online?
Yes. Tom, you should be able to speak.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't have the mute, not mute button here. Okay, just wanted to go through things real quickly here. Old Town 1 is one that I submitted. Those are the wooden stairs leading down to Artillery Street. Right now, the wooden stairs are rotted out, and especially when the nightfall comes earlier in the day, those are very hazardous. The pedestrian barrier upgrades on the recreation trail is similar to the ones that you have on Hartnell Street. And I've always been concerned about a child getting through that railing and then falling, with great damage or death to themselves when they hit the rocks down below on the rec trail. So I think that's a very high priority safety issue.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? We're on committee questions, not.
Oh, no, this is public comment.
It's public comments. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Number 66, the community-wide art celebration. I really like Downtown 13.
Sorry, Tom, that is not on the agenda for today.
Oh, it's not? I'm sorry. How
No,
far down?
sorry, we were only speaking up to Monterey Vista. So thank you though. But if you have any other comments for the agenda item for today, then you can continue speaking.
Okay, so we're not doing multi-neighborhood tonight.
No, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so that ends public comment on item 3.
Thank you. Rather than go in order, let's just go around the table. Any comments on comments, questions, discussion for the committee?
I just think there's several of these that were not crossed off from the September meeting that we're learning tonight are not doable. To have a discussion about just eliminating those. So.
Good. Okay.
Oh. Like MV3 has been withdrawn by the submitter. I wasn't discussed here today, but it's not crossed off on the list. So, so. What their discussion, people have them. From my neighborhood, since we had 3 projects, one was on private property taken off, the other withdrew. The only one remaining is this controversial sidewalk. There's not much to report from my neighborhood, but I'd love to hear from others.
I'll go last. Yeah, you want this?
I'll speak on Glenwood when we review the project.
So I'll go through downtown. The railings on, and if you saw the picture that Reggie showed, that's actually a really, little kids can get through there and fall through there. At one point, they had construction fencing up, but somebody took it down to keep people from falling through there. Can you show that? Yeah, look at that railing by the post office. It's real easy for a small child to fall through there. And so at one point when I went by there, there was construction fencing up and now it's been taken down. But that's what that project is all about, safety. DT2, that's just, as Reggie said, that just going through the path. And there was a project we funded. This is similar to that. And let's see, what's D3? And that's the Calida principle, where he talked about that, the bike path. That's totally new. Then the DT4, that's the solar panel cells. The bike lane, that is, if you look on the south side of Pearl Street by the west end of Pearl Street, and then it narrows. There is no way for a bike and a car to go on that lane. And there's a bunch, not a bunch, but there's quite a few commuters that go up and down Pearl Street. And they get to that point and it gets tricky for them to try to get around. And there is part of a bike path there already. But when you get to the west end, it's going away. So that again is a little bit of a safety issue. Yeah, those two are combined. The library, you've heard a lot. Bella and I toured the library thanks to the board. And I was taken aback about their storage room for all of the archives of the pictures and other historic things. They have a server in the same room. And if you know what heat a server generates, it's not safe. Let's just put it that it's not safe. So that, to me, that's really important that and they mentioned the elevator and the ADA in the bathroom. So ADA is also very high and the windows. So that is definitely needed. There's a display boat. I've been fussing at the city council. This is the third time that display boat has been destroyed from lack of maintenance. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't like that. But it's the third time that it's had to be replaced. How's that? So right now, I've talked to the submitter and they've agreed that it's a replacement, either an old fishing boat or, like Andrea mentioned, maybe we can find a replica. That's cheap, but maybe we can put a replica so it's easier to maintain than buying an old 1930s boat and trying to maintain that. So that's what that one's about. And then we talked about the Fremont. Actually, it's fine until you get right down towards the bus stop, again, at the west end of Fremont. It sounds like there's already a project that will take care of this one. So that's a really good thing. All right. Okay, downtown, no, that one's, this one's. It's not, okay. Oh, and the old, Reggie showed that's replacing the sign that was there. We also toured the Elistero Park Center. They need some upgrades inside there. And that's what this is about, to help. There's a lot of activity with youth in that building. And so this is to help do some of that and fix up some of the deteriorating structures in there. So I think that's it, right? Oh, and yeah, they already mentioned about the bar. It's actually the barbecue tables that need to be replaced. Yeah, those. That's it. Thank you.
Stu, do you?
Your turn.
Yeah. I'm not, Old Town's not today.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
Sue, do you want
Go back to Glenwood or no?
Sue, did you have anything on Old Town?
We're not doing Old Town tonight.
Okay, so yes, go back to Glenwood.
Okay. Would you share?
Of course I'll share.
Thank you.
I have to be reminded.
The sign, the crosswalk over on the Glenwood, what started everything was they put in the 2 poles for the flashing. And there was a radar sign with the lighting on top of that, and that's why it was stolen. They almost come with their motorhomes and climb up, and this is the second one in my neighborhood, different locations. The radar panels have been taken. The other one is at the bottom of the hill, and it was taken care of. The sign on the other side of the street, the crosswalk and the solar panel, that thing almost reaches the sky. It is so high. It's impossible for anybody to take it home. But this one desperately needs to have the higher pole and the solar so that that flashing crosswalk could work. In my neighborhood, I have approximately 900 people. 85% of them are renters and senior citizens. And there's a lot, that's the park lane that it's right in front of. They do a lot of walking in that neighborhood. And there is 2 bus stops, one on the picture with the circle. And the bus stop, you can see the red seats. in the picture on the left over there. So this is a major, and to top it off, it's right on I'm going to call it a dead curve. It's a blind curve. So you can't see who's coming up, who's going down. And it's also the curb is where one of the access for parking where you go in and out of Park Lane. So you've got senior citizens trying to drive to get on because we're also an Indianapolis 500 speeding through our neighborhood to get from the highway. You can work your way all up to Home Depot using those roads. And so you got senior citizens on a blind curve. They're doing construction at Park Lanes. We have all these trucks up there, but we would really respectfully like to have that radar pole higher and replaced so that the crosswalk, the flashing crosswalk, and they use that thing. They use that crosswalk with the flashing. So I hope you approve the project. Thank you.
Scott, go ahead.
I believe our only one for the radar speed sign repair will be rolled into the citywide project. If so, then we can.
My preference altogether.
Agreed. Good.
And the local project when the traffic speed reduction, obviously speed bumps are not allowed, so that portion can be switched on. I believe our traffic study is over 20 years old, and a lot has changed in our neighborhood, and the uses are in the proposal, so I don't know if we need a new one or not. The speeding issues are because of the nature of our neighborhood and the businesses around it. As you heard you recall the speaker that spoke last week, speeding is an issue in our neighborhood, and Casanova Oak Knoll the speeding is kind of out of control. So if the only portion of that project is the radar speed signs, perhaps we need one somewhere else along Casanova Oak Knoll. The one that's there right now is kind of hidden. It's hard to see. It's as you coming into the neighborhood off of Fremont. And so it's not always that visible. As for the second project, the speed bumps, spoke to the applicant, he's withdrawn, was not aware that speed bumps were not allowed in the city. However, there is speeding issue along Ralston Drive as well. The dog drink, as you know, a lot of our projects, I think, Reggie, did you see 5 of them were with the park? Since our park center is closed, our neighbors tend to use the outside portion of the park a lot, maybe even more than they might have normally used it. So I think that's indicative in the amount of projects centered around the park. The dog drinking fountain. I've been seen drinking out of the fountain. So if it's not a combined one like that, there is a standalone that may be more cost effective. If we give the dogs at least a separate drinking fountain than the human drinking fountain, I think that would make everybody happy. The sidewalk resurfacing, it's just the portion where the basketball and the handball court are. It's really rough, and kids have mentioned that, and even some adults have mentioned that they don't want to use the courts as much because they're afraid they fall. And it's really weird, the rough pavements here, and then there's smoother pavement right next to it. So maybe if it could all be consistent. The garbage cans, we have deer, turkeys, raccoons, and right now the garbage cans where they're in the park are open. And they're easily, and because of the dogs, they're easily knocked over. Our barbecue area is used quite a bit on the weekend. So I actually proposed a project. So I think that has a neater appearance. They're also bigger than the cans that are there. I spoke to Tice from the Parks Department, and we would just use those garbage cans that are currently in the barbecue area in the rest of the park. And then Tice thought we'd refresh those with a coat of paint and they would look better. We did reach out to the applicant of the bathroom lighting and the gate. The lighting portion, I believe, at the September 10th meeting was discussed that's part of maintenance. So could probably withdraw that if we can get those lights fixed. The gate is not only to keep kids in, because that portion of airport in Euclid and Ramona is quite busy. And with our speeding issues, there has been concern that the kids could run out if if parents distract her. There's 2 kids. One of the kids can run out and it fronts both those streets. So we'd like the gate fixed. And there was also concern with the gate not being there. The large dogs in the park have run into the playground area where sometimes really small children are playing, and that could be really scary for them, as well as a safety issue. The exercise equipment, the applicant says that they believe a 60 by 60 foot area is available at the top portion of the park as a southeast end. And she's not even sure that it would need that 60 by 60. I can forward it to, I think I forgot to forward this to Reggie. She did include some pictures of the equipment she's thinking about or the size, but she'd like to still keep that. It would be nice to have something other than the playground equipment in there for the other users of the park, especially since right now they're not using the basketball or the handball court because the rough pavement. And I think that's it for the specific ones in the entry sign. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know there was a sign there because it's so small. So that would be nice if you could make it a little bit more visible somehow, but I didn't. And it is one of the, especially when you're got the fairgrounds right there, it is one of our main entry points for a lot of big events at the fairgrounds. So it would be nice to say, hey, welcome to Monterey. But yeah, I didn't know there was one there. I have to travel several times a week.
Project Murata Park. I believe that there was Lou wanted to come tonight, but he had a conflict. He did send some comments. I don't know if it's appropriate to read those. I'll share his comments with you since he couldn't be here. I am writing in support of the reference project in Lagunita Murata Park. This project has a history of more than 6 years with no progress. The poor effort in late 2019 resulted in a situation that is worse now than it was when it agencies with no evident interest. The project encountered one incompetent snafu after another. The net result was a half-baked, incomplete, and never addressed problem. He did send some photos as well and document of the history of the prior project. I would urge you to bring attention to this lovely corner of the Alta Mesa neighborhood. I accept that the wheels of government turn slowly, but I don't accept that basic city maintenance is ignored and poorly executed. Please give this project serious consideration. I know that on first glance, this might look like a nice to have instead of a need to have, and that's been bantered about a lot this year, given the budget situation. And yes, it would be nice to have the area refreshed and the walkway is pretty uneven. But the concern, I believe, the bigger concern is the health of that pond, which is an important ecosystem for the whole city, really, as it connects. And as it gets more and more overgrown, it's just going to choke off the pond. So I do hope you will give some consideration to this project. It is a more labor intensive one because of all the agencies, but I think ultimately worth the effort. Bonnie Beach. Opening comment, the neighborhood really came back with smaller projects and less projects than it normally would because their focus was to support the city in accomplishing and finishing the projects that were open. But some of these should be pretty easy. The picture for the stair railing, DMB01 is the wrong place. There's actually only one set of stairs on the beach. It goes down, it's 15 feet. And probably something that Parks could put in a day. So it shouldn't be a big thing. So I'll bring a picture back of where the stairs are so y'all can see that. The Delmine Beach 02 recycling and cigarette receptacles, the submitter's thought was that there's probably already some little stick in the ground, a little container that can be put in place to collect cigarette butts, or maybe it's attached to the, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. So we want Parks input on that. The Take a Toy, Leave a Toy is indeed back after its political exposure last year. There's a lot of interest in this in some corners. Maybe it make a good Eagle Scout project, but there you have it. On the speed bumps, I need to double check with the submitter to understand whether they wanted speed calming or whether it had to be bumps. If it's bumps, then we're done. But if it's calming, our neighborhood was approved for Alvarado style bulb outs in the past. And then the split rail boardwalk fencing, we may be able to take that off because we did have funding for some railing work and that railing work's getting done now. So it may be that need is being addressed without another project. So I'm going to try and get some more information on that one for you guys. See if we can get one more project off the list. And that's Del Monte Beach. And then I will say I've got clarifying questions now that everybody's had a chance to make presentations. It might help next time to make the presentations and the presentation part and then have all the questions together.
Always good to get new ideas. Do we have committee members online that want to speak?
No, we do not. No hands are raised.
Okay. Do you see any motions that we need to make based on the discussion we've had? Other than Dave's potential of making sure that we have marked up list with ones that are no longer needed, but it sounds like that's an ongoing process of people getting more information. So I don't know if it's an actionable item. Any discussion?
I didn't hear him.
I'm sorry. I was asking, is there any to have a motion at this point? Because the process of the projects is kind of ongoing. And Dave brought up, let's make sure we have a good list, but the list is going to continue to change as we go clear up to the vote. So I don't see anything that requires a motion at this point.
Maybe I can just highlight the ones that would be good if we got some follow-up on.
That would be great. Thank you.
So based on my notes here, we have Casanova Oak Knoll 1. There was find out about whether or not it's traffic calming and or speed bumps. Speed bumps can be removed and more generic traffic calming.
It's the same thing with Del Monte Beach.
The same thing with Del Monte Beach. Sorry, here, which one was that? That was
DMB
04. So Del Monte Beach 04, kind of the same idea. We're going to combine downtown 05 and 06. So that one of those will go away. And then I noted that, yes, so at the time when we published the agenda, MV03 was in question, but we've confirmed that that one has been withdrawn. So that'll show up on future ones. And then I don't know, Hans, MV02, are we going to keep it on the list or?
Well, he hasn't withdrawn it.
All right, the applicant has not withdrawn it.
He has not withdrawn MBO2.
So I'll keep it on the list.
Yep, we'll keep it on.
MB02 will remain on the list, and those are the only ones I have.
Well, 3 goes off, so yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yes. So then the Del Monte Grove EMG 01 will be removed.
Combined with the other multi-neighborhood radar speeder signs that are in another project.
With the
Right, it'll be
Glenwood.
be absorbed into that.
Go for the price of one.
To us.
The Glenwood radar speed, I mean, we didn't, I mean, we could expand it to include rapid flash beacons. We could do that.
Make it all one project.
So, sounds fine to me.
It's generally the same contractor that would do both.
Yeah.
So I think combining it makes a lot of sense for one larger project instead of.
It's good. Deal for two.
And so we'll do that. Yeah, we can combine that also.
I'm happy.
As long as we find economical ways to get stuff done, that's what we want to do.
Yes.
So moving on to the next agenda item. Agenda item 4 would be the next one up, but I would like to do agenda items 5 first, unless there's any objections. Seeing no objections, are there any objections online?
There's no objection online. Or there's no comment online.
So let's have the staff presentation on item 5, please.
All right, well, there's actually there's no presentation for item 5. So, but I can just give a brief discussion or brief oral presentation. So for item 5, as I understand it, the NCIP committee has requested to have a discussion and make a motion on whether to recommend to city council that the entirety of the 26-27 funds that would come to NCIP could be sent to city council or general fund or some portion thereof. So it's my understanding. That's the discussion with an option for a motion from the committee.
I believe that's the question. Any clarifying questions from the committee?
And not take funds from existing projects. Was that part of that?
Because.
Speaking to the microphone, please.
Microphone.
And not take funds from existing projects. Was that part of it?
I'll let Andrea speak first.
So, I believe that the also based on your discussion. So I think the discussion questions, maybe if we have any questions on the process, I can talk about it, and then maybe we can go to public comment and then discussion. And a recommendation as to agree upon, and then we'll take that to council and then come back to NCIP.
Yeah. Any other clarifying questions?
There is one online.
Okay.
AJ, Aguajito Oaks.
Okay, let AJ go first then.
Hey, Reggie, can you repeat what you just said? I apologize. I kind of didn't quite hear that fully.
Okay, so maybe I can consolidate my thoughts. So as I understand it, item 5 for this evening is a discussion with the opportunity to make a motion for staff to go to city council with your recommendation, the committee's recommendation for funding from the FY 26-27 fiscal year. So that will be the year after this year, somewhere between 0 and all $6 million of the funds to go to the general fund. So some or none or all of the FY 26 16% of the city's TOT that goes to the NCIP committee, which is generally somewhere around 6.1 to $6.2 million, could be made available to the city for the deficit, the budget deficit. Some, none, or all.
Thank you.
Any other committee qualifying questions?
Jamie.
Jamie, you had your hand up, but you withdrew.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the amount of the estimate is around 6.2 million. So.
Yep. Go ahead.
When do the next year's funds become available for the city?
So funds come in, so the way the TOT is collected, it comes in on a monthly basis. So it goes in, so as the city collects the TOT funds, 16% goes into the NCIP fund on a monthly basis.
Okay.
So it's ongoing available.
Right. So depending on the cycle. So for example, by changing the schedule this year, nobody lost any money. That money is still accumulating in the 216 fund. And so depending on when the schedule for next year is, you'll have that amount accumulated monthly. And that includes also interest. I know we had a question from somebody saying, why can't we use the interest? The interest is part of the NCAP available funding every year.
Okay. So I guess my concern or question is the city's budget that we're going to shortfall is next year's budget. And will these funds?
Correct. It's 26, 27.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would be the 26, 27 NCIP available funding for projects.
Okay. So okay, I got it.
Any other clarifying questions? Open it up to public comments for any feedback on this particular item. Almost seeing none.
I just have a question.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
We had someone.
We have one online. No, I know you can say. You could say, just hold their thought.
Your thought until the committee member gets asked a clarifying question.
Well, no. It's not a clarifying question. There's one person online. We're getting our timer up.
Okay, sorry. So Gina, tag you.
Okay, what was my clarification? So I'm thinking of what that means in terms of project flow. That means that the projects being reviewed that we just did half of begin in the fall of 2026 or summer of 2026. So the funds from 2025-6 will be expended in 2026. Correct?
You should finish your comment and then we can respond after your comment.
Oh, I don't think like that. Okay, so then the 2026-27 money that we're offering to put forward would have been used for new projects identified in the fall of 2026. Yes, okay. Thank you.
And then we have Tom Reeves online. Tom, you should be able to unmute.
That time I saw it. Okay. I just wanted to offer the suggestion that how you word this to the council is very important. I like the way Reggie clarified it by saying up to the full amount. It could be none of it, it could be all of it, or it could be some amount in between. I would not just offer them all your cards and just say, here, you take it all, because I think they still have a lot of deliberating to do to see if they can cut the budget. And perhaps they don't need the whole $6 million. And I think you ought to also clarify that this is in lieu of cutting already funded projects. So make it just abundantly clear that we're not talking you're offering up is the entire amount of the fiscal year 27 budget. Thank you.
All right, and that is the end of public comment.
Okay, opening up to the committee for any discussion. Go for it.
Okay, and my feeling is I am at the end of the joint meeting was worried about option 2, and I feel like it is doing a disservice to our community to cut existing projects and put them basically behind new projects that we might fund this year. I think taking projects out without talking to the submitters. I mean, there are definitely maybe projects that can be cut, but I feel like voting on them is not really, or voting on them at once is not really the best way of doing it because we don't really know where these projects are, what the submitters, how the submitters feel at this time. If submitters come and say, yeah, it's been taken care of otherwise or something, great. But if we just vote on them, we're missing a lot of the input from the submitters and to new projects, and will create a lot of bad blood in the community. So I am really, if we want to review old projects, my feeling is we should bring in the submitters.
The item at hand right now isn't reviewing the projects. We are simply discussing for future. So if you have comments on those parts, please keep it to the item.
So anyway, in that sense, I strongly support the idea of using next year's funds and making those available. And but with the understanding that we don't cut projects unless we talk with the submitters here in person, bring them in and talk about them, and whether we do that in groups of 10 or whatever. But in that sense, I support the motion or the idea.
So that we could get 5 out of the way and then make a motion on 4, which is very much in line with what you're suggesting. Okay.
So to clarify, what we're talking about here is the pot of money that we're starting to talk about spending. We just stop that discussion now, and we have a clean, well-defined source of funding that we can offer some, all, or of. What this motion's about. We've done a lot of, been invested in those things on that list. And the farther we get from that setup, analysis, assessment, the more we're likely to have some waste because we have to redo it. Also think about if we go back to those projects and say, we're taking the funds from them now, we're going to do them later. When we do them later, they will be taking funds from other new projects. In the future, we will be giving up a new project. So you're still giving up new projects in the future, whether you went and looked at the old ones and put them on pause, or you just said, here's the pot of money for next year, get into it, and here's what we feel. There's been a conversation about, well, we don't want to not have NIP because there might be emergencies that can be funded. When we look at this list right here, I don't feel that there's a huge amount of emergencies on this list. And this is the list that would be coming out of that pot of money we're talking about not voting on. And I would tell you, right now, the city has a $300 million.
Oh, so I'm sorry, Jamie, just to clarify. So we're talking about 26, 27. So the projects we reviewed tonight, that's 25, 26 funds. So we're not talking, so the idea would be to continue with this round of projects, this round of funding, and that what this is 26, 27, which would be next cycle's funds.
And
just to clarify.
that jibes with what the city has a problem with is 26, 27. So we would be offering them funds that are available monthly in 26, 27's period, which is the period that has the structural deficit. So it matches up the periods where the need is, as opposed to trying to take it from the current pot. And we are moving forward with this cycle's review because it's going to stay.
Yeah. And I think the last point I was going to make is if we gave up that whole pot of money, that whole 26, 27, the city has a $300 million budget already. If they had an emergency for capital projects, there's a lot of assumptions in any budget. They probably can find the emergency funds without NIP. So the concept that we had to have another voting cycle in 26, 27, because there might be big needs, maybe not so important. So, and then especially since we've clarified this year, the voting cycle is continuing. So all the needs that were already identified will potentially go forward.
I have a question. For the 26, 27, if the funds go into the general fund, will there still be allowed people to submit projects during that time? Because if we do, we're just going to get even more backlog because we're not even going to be able to do anything between 26, 27.
Right.
627 funding.
But would people be able to submit projects during that time if the monies are going to the general fund? No money. So yes or no?
Yeah. Shelley has a question.
So just for clarification, if we do not allocate the entire budget of 26, 27, and we only allocate a portion, so we have, if we do the 4 million that they're asking, we still have 2.2 million. Would that disqualify from accepting or approving a small number of new projects for that year?
That would allow us to do that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we choose the skip a cycle, so it's for 26, 27, and you choose to skip the cycle that year, that can be done. Or the schedule is also voted by the NCIP committee. So if you want to change the schedule again, there are different options.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Parker.
Because the 25-26 projects that we are reviewing, that was the deadline of July 31st, 2025. That means any project nomination that we receive August 1st and onward would technically be for a future cycle. That has not been declined as saying it will have to be 26, 27. It's just all others that are being received would come at a later time and for a later cycle. And just for clarification, there have not been any other submitted projects since the deadline for 25-26. So there's no current concern about any project nominations that have been submitted because there haven't been any submitted so far.
So the city council asked us to come up with $4 million.
3 to 4, yes.
Yeah, 3 to 4, sorry. So I think it's a good idea that we can take funds from next year's to meet that goal. However, even though this is a top project, the undergrounding, we're not going to spend the money this year. There's no way. It's 4 to 5 years out. Is that correct? So that money is sitting there. We could use, it's freezing. It says, don't go away. It says, freeze this project. That's what, $2.2 million. Freeze it. Bring it back next year. And all of us in this room know that we froze that. I would assume that we would vote to unfreeze it and use the funds from next year. So what my suggestion is we take 2.2 million and 2 million from next year and we're done. Well, not done. We have satisfied what the city council asked us to do. Even though I understand undergrounding is a top project, we're not going to spend the money now. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, I proffered in the last meeting that, and asked the city attorney, could the city borrow against what's in?
Well, that's borrowing. Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know, if they have a shortfall, they borrow against that to fix the shortfall. To me, that's in the realm of possibility.
Okay.
But I think the city council needs some certain amount for the 26, 27 budget to be able to balance the budget. So I think it would be good if we came up with a allocated amount that we had as a motion for staff to take back to council. So, any more discussion? Sorry, Dave.
So I think it's twofold, and we're actually talking about this together, but considering a recommendation that a big portion, and I like what you said about the undergrounding. It does two things, really. It not only helps the city with the budget, but it also helps us with this underlying problem of the backlog. So we're not adding potentially more projects next year. And thanks for the clarification, Parker, that the nominations still come in, but we wouldn't consider them for that cycle. So you're killing two birds here, if you will, with and showing good faith, I think, to the city council and the budget folks. So that's sort of my position.
Are we positive that the timing of this does work? Because I remember a comment by, I think, Nat about that they needed existing funding to be able to move into the budget. And that would not be existing funding. I understand it comes in monthly, but it is, it's not an existing pot of funds. I just want to make sure that timing would actually solve the problem.
So as Matt mentioned, we do need to pass a balanced budget. We cannot pass a budget that's not balanced. And so that source of revenue would be, depending on the timing of the 26, 27, it would either be partially already we'd be receiving the funding, or it would be funding that will be received as we spend. So it's the same thing as when we pass a budget for next fiscal year. We don't have the TOT for that year either yet, but we accumulated monthly. So it would be the same.
Okay.
We have one online.
Go for it.
I don't see the hand up online.
AJ, I thought I saw your hand on earlier. Do you still have a comment or question?
No, the committee in the room kind of addressed the point I was.
All right, thank you.
Any motions that anyone would like to make at this point? Would you like me to offer one? Yes. I would like to see us do a motion for an allocation of $3 million out of the 26, 27 NCIP funds so that we can have an abbreviated cycle in 26, 27 of NCIP projects, because often there are needs in the city that are needed to be addressed, and we would have some funds then to be able to do that, as well as help the city with the structural budget deficit.
Could you modify it and make it 3.5?
Let's discuss it. Is that a friendly amendment?
That's a friendly amendment. Very friendly.
A friendly amendment for, and a friendly amendment for not cutting existing projects and putting new projects ahead of them.
That's why item pushed back after item 5.
Okay.
Do you need a second?
That'd be fine.
Discuss it? Or
it probably should.
Right. Second.
So is the Second, including the friendly amendment of an.
Friendly amendments, and clarifying.
All right, so for clarity's sake, it'd be best to.
Did you read?
So the motion made by Skyline with amendment by Downtown is that NCIP would recommend to the City Council to allocate $3.5 million of NCIP funding from the 26-27 cycle in order to address the budget shortfall. In addition, that there would be an abbreviated cycle of 26-27 NCIP cycle in reviewing future projects in order to continue to allow continued discussions of infrastructure needs for the city.
And community involvement.
And community involvement, yes. And that was seconded by Monterey Beach community member Fields. So yes, now you can have a further discussion or roll call if necessary.
Is there any further discussion?
I guess I'm unclear how my amendment fits in with the next issue, the next topic.
When we get to that agenda item, it'll become.
Okay.
Did you mean to have this motion say we're doing this in lieu of taking?
That was my friendly amendment that wasn't taken.
So it's wording that's added to this resolution that it clarifies why we felt this was the superior alternative.
The specific action that council was to ask us to reduce from the projects the money that would be offered to help with the structural deficit. When we talk about that in item 4, I think we can have our reasoning why we don't want to do that without public input, which was cause us to have a longer period of time and not answer some certain of what the dollar amount could be. So that would be part of our redress back to council on why on item 4 that their request doesn't quite work. But what we're working with on item 5 is how we can get something that does work. And also jibes with their timing of need in their budget structure. That makes sense?
Okay, I'll go with it with the current motion.
Okay. Any other discussion of the motion? Anyone online with discussion on the motion?
There's one hand raised. Go ahead, Aguayo Oaks.
In terms of city staff input on this, like like this is consistent with your concerns from that were addressed in the joint meeting? Or is this consistent with your concerns that were addressed in the joint meeting about the need for NCIP to fund important projects year over year for the city?
So this is a portion of consideration that can be given, and city staff will still be following the direction of city council for NCIP to consider the 25-26, or no, sorry, other projects prior year project. So while this does not fulfill entirely, this can be at least given at least as a priority that NCIP committee can give as a recommendation to prioritize the 26-27 over the inactive non-started projects. So it would not complete the action, but it would offer a priority of recommendations.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
And I'm thinking that if council isn't as completely pleased with our motion, that there will be time for them to come back and give us an opportunity to make a revision.
Or no?
Oh, no, we're still on 5.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that the request then is up to $3.5 million for fiscal year 26-27 to match the year that the city has the budget request. Okay. And that's the motion.
That's the motion.
That's the motion.
And if there's no more discussion, are we ready for roll call?
You didn't want to start deep.
All right, roll call. Aguayo Oaks.
Aye.
Thank you. Alta Mesa.
Aye.
Thank you. Casanova Oak Knoll.
Aye.
Deer Flats.
Yay.
Del Monte Beach.
Aye.
Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande.
Aye.
Downtown.
Aye.
Glenwood.
Aye.
Monterey Vista.
Support.
Old Town.
Aye.
Skyline.
Yes, please.
And Villa Del Monte.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. So now we'll go to 4, which will have more discussion.
And 3, fast.
See the agenda item and then we'll.
Yeah.
Yes, give me 1 second, please.
Any comments?
So thank you, Chair. So this has been on the agenda for NCIP. It was last time, and there was a motion to postpone the voting. And we also have our city attorney, Chrissy Davi, here, and she did strongly encourage NCIP to go through the voting and prioritize in case city council did need into the funding is existing NCIP funding. And so I just want to reiterate what our city attorney did say is that without going through this exercise, then the council does not have a priority. So you can have your discussion and questions. I just want to reiterate what our city attorney said before.
Okay. Any clarifying questions? Jamie.
What's the agenda item?
So the agenda item up for discussion is item 4, which is to identify between $3 to $4 million of existing, not started or inactive projects, to rank them for potential defunding or chilling or whatever, freezing, chilling.
Okay. All right, so we had a conversation and have a spreadsheet so that we could do a prioritization. I know that a lot. Again, I just want to reiterate what was said at the last meeting by our city attorney, so and add that to the conversation.
Go ahead.
So the clarifying question is, what I heard at the last meeting was the importance of public oversight and public input on this process. And so the exact wording that we just read off doesn't say we're coming up with a process to get this done. It says we're just doing it right now. And I'm wondering if there's room for us to say tonight, we talk about how we might do this.
There's absolutely room to push this to another meeting and prioritize at another meeting. There's absolutely room. This is just, we're keeping something on the agenda so that we can follow council direction.
Yeah. Council. I don't think they understood how NCIP works. We have to have public input and that it takes time to gather that. And then both us and council have approved these projects. So it's going to be difficult to remove them.
Yeah.
Not saying we shouldn't do a review of the backlog. I think that's very prudent for us to do. I just don't think we're going to be able to do that expeditiously. I think we go through the 25-26 cycle. And then in the first part of 2026, we look at those projects in more detail with public oversight. So at the end of the day, they need some certain number to look at for their budget. The only way to get there is 26-27, which we just did. So the recommendation that I would make is a motion that suggests to council that what we did with the 26-27 placates the need to do the project review, but that we in normal course will do the project review of projects that aren't able to be done, to look at them as good stewards of the projects that need to be built. There's no point in carrying something in the backlog that can't happen. But in order to get to that finding, we need the public input, the project submitters input, et cetera. And that will take some time. And I believe that's going to require meetings that happen after we do the 25-26 that we had the first part of this evening. So I think those reasonings need to be in part of our motion response back to council. And hopefully the $3.5 million from 27 satisfies the need in a cleaner way. At least that's what I believe it does.
All right, before we have a discussion, can we go to public comment?
Yes, sorry.
It's an answer to a clarifying question.
It's a clarifying question, but yes, you're right. Are there any public comments?
But I have a question about it because
Hey, hold on. Sorry. We gotta get the clock started.
except I have a question about public comment. I don't want it to be my public comment.
And we take committee comment, and we take committee clarifying questions, and we take public comment, and then we take committee comments. So that's how the process works. Public comment would be coming after the clarifying questions from this NCIP.
And there are no clarifying questions.
We're done.
It appears not, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why our chair has requested for public comments.
Public comment the last time.
We did not.
I got to give a clarifying question, but I didn't get to give a comment.
You did give a comment, and then Tom Reed then gave a comment. So
I don't know. It's okay.
in public comment at this time.
Okay, so this is on the question of the review process. I'm not sure I understand why this review process is so critical, so I'm going to skip over that. I do think that the review process and the resulting approved and reviewed now a couple of times when they came through for vote. And last year, when we as a committee went through all of our projects and reviewed all of our projects for relevance. So we're on our third review. So I would just ask that we do a little bit of planning around how projects are going to be prioritized and done. So those that are undergoing multiple reviews are on the top of the list to get done rather than be cycled back around repeatedly for more reviews. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments in the room?
There's one online.
Thank you. That was going to be my next question.
Tom, you should be able to speak.
Confused. What is the public going to be commenting on? I'm not even sure what the process is. It sounds like the committee is, at least Dennis is intonating that you're not going to go through these projects tonight. Instead, you're going to give a recommendation to the council. And actually, I think that is a good way to go. However, if you decide you're going to go through these projects, I'd like to comment on some of these projects. But I guess I'll have to preface my comment as though you're going to go down the road that Dennis suggested. And I would say, go back to the council with what you decided on item number 5. Let them know that you would like them to retract their previous direction to the committee, which is to go through these projects and cull out $3 to $4 million worth of old projects, just so that it's abundantly clear that you don't have this hanging over your heads as a directive from the council. I hope I made that clear. So it's two different things. You're saying you're giving them what you decided in number 5 in lieu of going through this list of projects. So I hope that helps you. Thank you.
That's the end of public comment.
Okay, back to committee for discussion. Anybody?
I'll start. Yeah, I want to emphasize that unlike in the old days, what I was around, there was a huge backlog. There was multiple years. Cost estimates were no longer good, all that sort of stuff. We got a clean slate. Everything was taken away. $20 million gone. We started fresh. These are only a couple years old at the oldest, and many are less than that because we've just started over. And last year we did go through the pile again and look for what's not valid, what's not executable, what's not wanted. So this is a pretty clean list that we have here. So there's no easy 4 million to give away. And so that's why I am really behind the concept that it needs to be brought out for all those people that just came out and spoke on this the last year or two and thought they had a project, for them to come back and advocate why they think their project is a priority in the mix of projects and consider ranking them. And so the proposal of get this 3 million and plus out the door as a starting spot for the city to anchor on and have us do the valid review of done quickly. It doesn't have to take an entire voting cycle. But I think we've had a lot of turnover on the committee since those projects were approved. And we all need to understand what was behind each one of those. And like I said before, I know about the broken arms. I know about the broken teeth. Not everybody that's sitting here at the table heard that testimony the last time those came up. And so giving us time to do that public comment as well is very valid.
I happen to agree with you with that. This is a neighborhood community committee, and I totally agree. Transparency, we have to have the input from the public on this. It has to be open to total discussion. Thank you.
Anyone else online? I'm not seeing anybody jumping up in here.
AJ has his hand. Oh, he just dropped it.
Can I comment or?
Oh, yes, please.
All right. No, I just kind of want to reiterate what I said in the joint meeting. I think when we face difficult decisions, flexibility is key. And so keeping that in mind, as we move forward is something that's kind of, on my mind as we, look to, support existing projects, but then also look forward. So.
Yeah, I think one thing is that the city is a little bit nervous about us funding more smaller projects, neighborhood projects that just puts us further behind, which is a problem that we have. But I think we also, as a committee, understand the problems that the city are in. And I think we're all ready to vote for some of the larger projects that the city needs. After all, we are, as I said before, we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to pull in the same direction. So I think what Ed said at the joint meeting was that we needed to think about this a little bit more about the options. And I think really slowing down, taking the money from the old projects is a wise thing. And I think the city council I hope the city council will understand that. But also, I just want to kind of clarify that I think we understand that we can't keep funding too many smaller projects and to work with the city. And I think my feeling is we will. And especially if we reduce projects next year, we'll allow Reggie some time to go get those lists of projects done. And I allow him to at least reduce that list a bit more, give him a little bit more break. And the more we vote big projects in to help us all out with bigger city projects, we'll get there and be able to reduce that list. I think voting takes that into account, and hopefully all be able to work together in that sense. Thanks.
Is there a timeline on I mean, I guess I still a little uncomfortable that we were given a directive and we are pushing back on it. So I guess that's our prerogative. But is there a timeline on when there needs to be a definitive answer on this?
Go to the process of ranking these projects. So I think that as part of the agenda report that we're going to take that NCIP is recommending us take to council, we can also ask for a timeline on the prioritization of the projects. And then just a little tiny bit of history. I know 2020 was very painful for everybody, but there was still $5.1 million that remain in NCIP projects.
Yeah, go for it. The city, they have to have the budget finalized in April. I believe that's correct. And so, well, I think that's correct. Or prioritizing old projects and discussing the new projects. And so Dennis alluded to it. We may need to have more meetings in January specifically to address this. And then that keeps it on the budget. That meets what the city attorney was saying. And then that gives us time to see what the city council says. So I think that would be the suggestion, is we move and have meetings in January to discuss the priority of but in the meantime, we go back to the city and see what the city council, and see if
motion that I would hope for is that we table this item 4 until city council tells us that we need to go back to it, given what we did with item 5.
Okay, is that your motion?
I don't know. Parker, can you make that into a motion?
Yeah.
I love staff. They have to go through and figure out what they're talking about.
So the motion suggested by Vice Chair Duke is that for agenda item number 5, to prioritize inactive and non-started projects would be for the NCIP committee to motion to discuss that project at a later time for a schedule to be decided in January 2026. And side note, the NCIP committee voted in the previous meeting for the next meeting to be January 21st, 2026. That'd be the first meeting according to the schedule. And that would be adjusted as well. So that would be the motion.
It's number 4. You said 5.
Oh, sorry. Agenda item number 4. Sorry. Okay. I'll repeat the motion. Okay. The motion made by Chair Duke, Vice Chair Duke, is that for agenda item number 4, the NCIP committee will motion to move the discussion for later meetings with the NCIP committee in January 2026 in order to review the prioritizing of defunding of inactive and non-started projects during that time period. Yeah.
Good, Jamie.
It is completely doable. It's not just a move and then we'll think about it. We could actually get it done then, but you don't need to put that in the motion?
I don't think we need to put that in the motion. And frankly, because we're responding to the need in a way that it is some certain and in the same time period, I would hope council gives us direction that we don't have to do it the way that has been suggested. I want us to do that on our own so that it goes to ending balance. So that ending balance could be part of 26, 27, so that we can do more for the city as it comes necessary or as it becomes apparent to us from project submissions.
And just one point of clarification, in 26, there won't be an ending balance. It'll all go to the fund.
Creative funds. I've always worked in businesses. I haven't worked in fund accounting, so I have to remember fund accounting. Go ahead, Dave.
I just want to point out in item 5, as it's written, it does say as an alternative to defunding approved NCIP projects. I think what we're saying is we're actually going to do both. And that we met a partial of number 4 with the proposal for the 3.5 million. But we'll also review and try to find savings, if you will, from that review process.
The problem that I see with that review process is that you can't get some certain number from it.
No, I know, but we're doing both in a sense that we're going to just review that. Listen, I guess we kind of do that as process, and we have in the past. Anyway.
Any other questions? Scott, you look like you have one.
I'm just thinking ahead, or in case council isn't pleased and comes back to us. I think, wouldn't it be much less painful if we look at, offering some from 25, 26 that we're reviewing now, rather than taking from the previously approved project list? I'm thinking of contingencies.
To me, the undergrounding is the contingency. Because we asked for projects in 25, 26. They have been submitted to us. Most of the spending that's going to go on here is city needs that without us doing them, city isn't going to have the budget to do them. Fire Station 13, Police Department, Forestry, ADA improvements in the library. Those are all things that our city needs. And we're standing here so we can do them. And I believe that the committee will actually vote them in. So I think we will have those kinds of things in 26, 27. So to have some money in 26, 27 to be able to stand up for that need for the city, I think is important.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought, I was thinking that still though, there might be room for a haircut from 25, this 25, 26 budget. Not a lot, but at least some.
I would prefer not to open that door because I believe we have enough needs in there. The ADA alone is huge. So I think we'll have difficulties with, or no difficulty spending all the money and difficulties setting the right priorities.
Okay, thanks.
Other thoughts?
Time for a second.
Yes, we do need a second. Yeah.
So I'll second the.
It's been first and seconded. Any discussion? Anybody online?
AJ has his hand up.
No, I just wanted to chime in and say, I do agree with Scott. Keeping that door open isn't a bad thing. Again, maintaining some of that flexibility, I think, is a good thing as we move forward, and not ruling out possibilities. So I just wanted to share my opinion on this.
Parker, can you repeat the motion?
I'll try my best. Okay. So the motion is for item number 4 in regards to the discussion for prioritizing, or sorry, is for the NCIP committee to continue the discussion for reviewing inactive and non-starter projects in January 2026 in order to meet the city council's direction of reviewing those projects in order to help supplement the prioritizing to prioritize that portion. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Part of me wants to say, or accept what we did in item 5 as the need being addressed, or remove the need to review the projects, but I believe we ought to do them on our own. Does that make sense?
So you're gonna have to state it all out. I don't think, there's so many pieces.
Yeah.
I think it's gotta be one clear statement. We can capture it. I think it's really hard to capture it. Start from the beginning, one clear statement.
The NCIP would recommend that our action on item 5 replaces the request that council made in item 4. And that the NCIP committee on its own will review the projects that are undoable or not started in challenge projects in early 2026. That makes sense.
I ask a question, so the I can't, English is my second language. Prioritization of the projects will then start in January, so we'll still prioritize and look at all the projects as per council direction.
Since we met the economic need, council may take that one off the table.
Okay, so I'm trying to get clarification for the motion so that maybe.
This is what I have. NCIP committee would recommend action on item 5 replaces the city council request on item 4, and NCIP committee on its own will review projects in early 2026. That's what I have.
Projects for defunding.
May I, Vice Chair? So there's a little bit of a difference here, and I understand, but I just want to make sure that we're clear. So council asks that you prioritize the projects that have not started and or had an issue that, and again, I want to give credit to the committee. You have been doing that even before the request. But when you defund a project, it goes into 216 funds, so it's still for NCIP projects. And then I just want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. Council had directed NCIP to prioritize through the same card exercise that we did for the budget for monies to go from the NCIP account to general fund. So the motion for number 4 then becomes that the review and prioritization of projects go back to the NCIP fund, not go to the general fund then. Am I getting that motion?
Yeah, because the economic need that we were asked to provide was between 3 and 4. We came up with 3.5. I think that's pretty fair. Council has a perfect right to come back to us and say, it's not enough, or that's great, thank you. But it's unclear to me that we are going to have $3 to $4 million out of the not started projects to be able to meet that need. So the only way that you can really do it is take it out of 26, 27.
I just want to make sure we have the motion right.
Jamie, go ahead.
So I think there's 2 motions here. There's one motion, which is we're tabling this until January, at which time we'll go through the list and rank it with public input is most likely the way we'll do it. And by the way, the current list that we're going to have just voted in will actually be a part of the conversation at that time. That's one motion. Give us till January and then we'll have time and then we can do it the right way. Another motion is we gave you 3.5 and that's probably the best source. Don't wait for our prioritization because there's probably not a lot of room in the rest of the list. So, but we'll see.
I would almost say item 5 is in lieu of item 4. Can we take it off the table?
So don't promise to come back, just say we gave you 3.5 and we've looked at the list before and we think that that's the best we can do.
I just want to rate that city council makes the funding decisions and CIP makes the recommendations.
Right. Right. It's very much like the comment that was made about how do we prioritize projects? We don't. We make a recommendation to city council blesses that recommendation and hands it to staff and asks staff to execute it as well and as when possible. We could have funded something 10 years ago and it doesn't get built because it's not easy, doable, for various reasons. We don't have no control over that. We're a recommending body to council who accept our recommendation and then it becomes for Public Works to execute. So we have no control of that part of it. Go ahead.
So as discussion point on these 2 points of view, I would point out I kind of am leaning towards where we started, which was, city attorney says they wanted your input, do it. And in what we're saying in our motion is we understand. We want to support you. Give us some time. We're going to come back to this. I kind of like that. If you want to put clarification in that, in addition, we think 3.5 is a pretty good start. But don't say you won't.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Jamie. I think we need, because the city attorney is telling us that we should at least keep this on the agenda as a priority to defund or freeze. We just keep it on the agenda and we say in January, we will tackle that. But in the meantime, please go to the city council with our recommendation of 3.5 million from next year's funds and see what they say. That's what the motion should be. That, at least in my mind, I agree with Jamie 100%.
So Parker, what's the modified motion with?
Motion as the clearer line, in that the NCIP would recommend prioritizing agenda item number 5, presenting that to city council.
No,
That's actually.
no, number 5 was 3.5.
We would prioritize agenda, that NCIP committee would recommend to city council to prioritize the action taken in agenda item 5, present that to city council. And then continue.
Yes.
And then continue the discussion of item number 4 in prioritizing freezing, thank you. Inactive and non-started projects in January of 2026. Okay, and that was first motion, committee member Fields, is that still?
Yes.
Okay. And then was it a second by downtown?
Yes.
Member Tipton? Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion on these motions?
So are there 2 motions on the floor?
No.
Did you withdraw your motion?
I withdrew my motion.
Thank you.
I withdrew my emotions.
Any more discussion?
I hate to belabor this, quite frankly, but I guess I'm still a little confused why we even we're going to do it. But I guess I'm just a little unsure about why we need a motion on this.
Can I jump in real quick?
Go for it.
In the meeting, I was there and it was brought up at the end of the meeting, the city council meeting, they said, well, maybe it's up to committee how they want to do it. That was the last part of that meeting. So they kind of indicated it was up to us what we could do. And so we're offering that to them. Plus, we're doing what they said by moving this to January.
And if we
Take action, you have to have a motion.
if we don't have a date, some certain when we're going to bring it back, it has to be on our agenda every meeting we have.
Right.
Understood.
So every meeting will be having a motion to delay.
So that it goes back on the agenda.
So it goes back on the agenda. So it's cleaner this way.
Good question.
Want to read it one more time? Parker is
good. Let's do it again.
It's wordsmithing over here. That's why I'm
Earning us money.
Really make me work for it. Absolutely. Okay. So the motion made by committee member Fields, and seconded by committee member Tipton is that the NCIP would recommend prioritizing the action taken in agenda item 5 to present it to city council and to continue the discussion of agenda item 4 to prioritize the healing and defunding inactive and non-starter projects by agendizing the item for future NCIP meetings in January 2026.
Great.
Boy, George, I think you've got it. I have to be home by midnight.
Come on, it's only 8 o'clock. This is an early meeting.
I know. Wait till we vote.
Okay, we ready to vote, or is there more comments anywhere?
Any more discussion?
Anybody online with comments?
There's no discussion online. No hands raised online.
All right.
Roll call. Roll call. Aguilita Oaks.
Aye.
Thank you. Alta Mesa.
Aye.
Thank you. Casa Nova Oaknall.
Aye.
Deer Flats. Del Monte Beach.
Aye.
Del Monte Grove Laguna Grande.
Aye.
Downtown.
Yes.
Glenwood.
Aye.
Monterey Vista.
Yes.
Old Town.
Aye.
Skyline.
Yes, please.
And Villa Del Monte.
Aye.
Thank you. And motion passes.
Thank you.
Can fund projects, but we're not going to defund Parker.
Ready.
Or Reggie.
That was fun. Any comments? Why don't we go around the room, Jamie?
No comment.
Amy?
No comment.
Kelly?
Just want to thank Dennis and staff for coming. But I believe Dennis came up with agenda item 5, so I want to thank you for that. And alternate submissions well instructed. Thank you, staff, for all the hard work you did preparing the agenda packet.
Well, I'll ditto that. That's all.
Sue?
No comment.
Just one comment. Make sure you read the submitted comments because Kelly read it, but it was actually in there in the submitted comments. Don't forget to read that.
Glenwood, no comment.
We'll comment last before.
I really like the way we discussed this tonight. I think this is the way NCIP really should work. And I think working together with city council and this is really kind of the way the NCIP was envisioned to work with the city. So I think I think we did really well tonight. So I was glad to see the discussions and the conclusions we made. Thanks.
No concluding remarks. Thank you.
I have one comment. Just everyone watch your just cause uses. And when Parker sends out the requests for addresses, if you're not going to be present, it's better to respond, provide your address, so we don't end up in a situation where you exceed your just cause uses. And we have 2 more meetings in a row, November 12th, November 19th, right? And then we have a break and then I forget exactly when the next one is. Maybe it's the voting, December 10th. So yeah, we have a series of meetings back to back to back to back, and the next agenda will come out on Friday for next week's meeting.
Yep. We have any closing comments from people who are representing neighborhoods on the outside?
Committee member Johnson or Purdy, do either of you have comments? Committee member Johnson, you can speak.
Hi, it's been a great process overall, and I really appreciate the compromises that both the city staff and our members have worked out. I feel comfortable with it.
Highway Oaks.
No,
Member Purdy.
Reggie, do you mind clarifying the comment you just made regarding the just cause? And happy to follow up by email too. I do have upcoming travel for work, unfortunately, and so just want to make sure I'm in compliance with the Brown Act.
Right, so with the Brown Act, if we publish your address on the agenda with the notification that you will not be present at the meeting, then you can attend the meeting and participate. If we don't have advance notice and your address is not printed on the agenda, then the only way you can participate is through the just cause options. But you only get so many of those 2 per year. In a calendar year. So if you exceed, once you get to 3, right, then you cannot. And so that we can have the notification and place your address on the agenda. But there are things that happen and you can't attend last minute. That's what the just cause is for. But you only get 2 of those.
Thank you. I realized I had to use mine this evening, but at the same time, just want to make sure I have the opportunity to. It sounds like I need to preemptively kind of notify city staff about my absence.
Yeah, I can follow up with you, Committee Member Purdy, about your exact, and I can follow up with all committee members to inform them of how many just causes you have used so far in this calendar year, because I track those. So I can clarify those details. But what Staff Coordinator Paulding has responded is accurate.
Thank you.
And my closing comment is thank you, staff, for helping us work through all of this detail. Thank you, committee, for coming. Going to be helpful for the city, and appreciate everyone's support and the community, the committee, and the public works that we work with. Thank you all.
To adjourn the meeting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Put up the sign.
8:16 hammer.
At the sign. Put up the sign.
Recording stopped.
Yay.